Good morning and what's up, all my super creators? Thank you so much for joining us today here on the Super Creators Podcast. I am your host, Super Manny, and on this podcast, we interview today's top creatives in their genre, whether it's photography, video, design, art, hip hop. And today, I actually have a really fun guest. I'm happy to have him on the show. I just want to give you a quick introduction. His name is Art Morera. He's a Cuban-American hip hop recording artist and producer, born and raised in Miami, Florida. Art fell in love with hip hop culture in high school and converted his natural drawing talents to graffiti and his skill with words into rapping. Writing poems turned into writing verses, and spectating freestyle ciphers turned into art, initiating the freestyles in high school and local hip hop events all over South Florida. And the majority of his music focuses on his life delivered with an autobiographical narrative. Most songs focus on his introspection regarding the life events that lead him to leaving Miami in pursuit of stardom in California, not knowing what was ahead of him. So thank you for coming onto the show, Art. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing, Super Manny?
Good. How's everything on your end?
Everything's cool, bro. I'm just here posted up at a park, man. Just walk my dog, just kicking it.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
I've recorded some of these in rooftops, basements, Starbucks, whatever it needs to be.
Nice. How do you feel whenever you're like around a bunch of other people and you're just talking, doing a podcast, and you have people around you like just looking at you?
Honestly, like at the beginning, I'll do the whole, I'm always like looking around and feeling awkward. But then after like 5 minutes, I'm just like, whatever. Like, they don't even know I'm here.
It's funny. I wish more people like factor that in, because at first you are a little self-conscious of other people looking at you, but once you tone them out, they also kind of tone you out, and they go back to their headphones or whatever they're doing. So that's dope.
No, it happens all the time when I'm like vlogging. Like I'll start and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this again. I'm that guy. But then, like you said, you just tone them out.
You ever seen that episode of South Park where Cartman is like talking into his phone? What's up, guys? Just wanted to let y'all know this and this and that's going on. And he kind of does the whole post. His arm sticking out.
I definitely have to look that up.
Yeah.
That sounds like me. No, but so right now, where you stationed? What city are you in?
Right now, I'm in Miami, Florida. I am taking a break from I'm in between both my jobs, and I have a cargo van that I pretty much use to just to operate out of. So I even have like a portable charger. It's called the Jackery 440. It's a 300-watt charger. So right now I'm talking to you out of my equipment that I record my music on, but I'm not plugged into an outlet in a wall. I'm just kind of mobile.
Oh, that's dope. That's
yeah.
Awesome. That's what I'm all about, being the digital nomad. No matter where you go, you can just
that's where it's at, man. That's where I think things are headed, because you have to be able to travel and be able to create, but you still need power. So unless if you have a solar power setup on top of your vehicle or whatever it is that you're kind of like moving with, people are going to start downsizing and becoming more minimal, and that's why companies are also trying to create better quality tools so that people can maintain their standard of quality, but not without having to be anchored down to somewhere,
Yeah. No, that's what's up. Kudos to you. You're doing it. A lot of people come up with excuses that they don't have a spot, they don't have a space, they don't have a studio. You don't need that.
Yeah, that used to be. I learned quick early on, man. Like when you have to depend on other people, and you have to pay what they are charging, so you can get what you want done. It's cool for a little while, but it's really easy to, it starts adding up real quick, and then even more so when you tell the engineer to run it back, and then you look over at him and he's like surfing on the web and he minimizes the browser and goes back to Pro Tools, and you realize you're paying someone money for their resources, but their heart's not in it, So you have to learn how to do what he's doing for you and pay what he has. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I get that. I'm all about that. That's why I learned too many things. I know a little bit about everything because I don't have to. I'm gonna go to somebody else.
Do you ever wish when it was just a simpler time, when you just didn't know how to do things and you just appreciated things for what they were before you peeked behind the curtain?
Yep. And
Yeah, me too.
I complicate things. And I somehow like it, but sometimes there's some things that I want to get into. Actually, one it's funny because I mentioned to you that since you produce music, I always wanted to get into it, but it's like it's a whole other animal that I have to tame, and I'm just like so I put it on hold. So I'm just like I know I'm gonna go full in deep dive when I do start. So let me like give myself the time before I go into that.
Because what is it that you're doing mainly now? Like aside from this podcast, what type of media do you do?
Just I'm a video editor and video producer, so I mostly it's like events. So I record like events with different types of entrepreneurs for their speeches, their podcasts, their micro content for like social media, their websites. So that's like the video work that I do, and then I guess for the fun side is more just like photography.
So like when you look at videos now, do you subconsciously look at the exposure and the coloring and all these things, and does that get in the way of you just being able to enjoy what you're watching?
So I know how to. I guess I've learned how to control it. Because at first, like, yeah, to be like, if I'm looking at something to critique it, then yeah, I'm gonna judge it like full on. But if I just like, I'm just like, okay, let me just like watch this to watch it, then I actually enjoy it more because I know what the cameraman's doing behind the scenes, like what angle he's at, like if he's laying
Mm,
on the floor, if he's on top of a ladder. So
that's dope, man. Like I'm actually happy to hear that because the people that I'm surrounded with in my life, they are so technically mind. They approach things with all those factors, all those different, knobs that they twist and turn. And sometimes I just want to tell them, bro, just stop talking, just watch it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo,
yeah.
just listen to the song, man.
No, that's why. Like that's why I guess that's why I appreciate it more because since I do understand the technicality of it, and I am like when I go into my work, I am like very technical with things, but I can still appreciate everything for like just what it is.
Word. Me too,
So
man.
I like it. I enjoy it.
And yo, learning is dope, man. Learning new things is always cool, man. You know, like at first I only knew how to rap. But I learned how to rap. I was always good with words, but I didn't know how to rap, and then
Mm-hmm.
somebody kind of put me on to kind of how to rap a little bit. And then I did that and I got good at it. And then I saw what the engineer was doing and I didn't understand that. It looked like the Matrix to me, and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
so little by little, man, you just pick up on it. And now I'm kind of at a point where I I know how to do everything that there is to do, for the most part at least, when it comes to creating music and engineering music. And then you need videos. So then you holler at a videographer and he hits you with like a super high price tag for his work. And then you
Mm-hmm.
think to yourself, damn, like I can just buy a camera with that amount of money. And then you get the camera and now you got to learn how to do that. And then you learn and now you got to pay somebody to hold your camera for you. And
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? It just kind of keeps adding on and adding on. And you know what I'm saying? But I love it though.
Yeah, I like to learn at least to the point where I can at least help and direct. Like I definitely know I'm not gonna be a master at everything, but I want to know enough where I can like assess a situation if it gets out of hand.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, do you have any like directors that you're a fan of that are like for like me, man? I'm a big fan of Steven Spielberg. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
Steven Spielberg to me is like he's the man, bro. But like, who are some directors that you rock with?
Honestly, I'm just getting into that, like more into like real filmmaking because I appreciate more the dialogue and the story rather than the filmmaking portion of it.
Okay.
So like you can literally like record something on an iPhone, like a full motion picture. But if the story is there, like I'm all for it. So I mean, like the stories that I go for are things like The Matrix.
Ah,
Inception, um, Shutter Island, like Minority Report, those types of like films and movies that like get you thinking and they have like a plot twist, like Memento. Um,
man, I love all
uh,
those movies, man. All those movies you mentioned, I would binge watch those, bro. Especially The
yeah.
Matrix.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. I've seen it too many times. Way too many.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
getting a little freaked out about how like the whole story of The Matrix, how we kind of live in a simulation while our bodies are being harvested by machines, and then you hear like Elon Musk telling Joe Rogan that we might actually live in a matrix for real. I mean, in a simulation for real. And I'm just questioning everything because I be seeing little things that just don't seem normal, Like,
Yeah.
I can't even explain. I don't have a list to draw from, but just the way people, it's a mix between The Matrix and Men in Black. Like, I don't even know if people are just normal people, man. Sometimes, man, it's just a little
Yeah.
funny.
No, no. Trust me, I feel you on that. I mean, definitely, we're living in some type of reality or alternate reality, but it's
Something, man. But like when people try to uh explain how, that we might actually be living in a simulation, like, what movie it also reminds me of? Like Tron. Remember Tron?
you know what? I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
It's like
Tron,
about
bro. I mean, think about it. Like, you know, it's like this guy made the computer, and then everybody that in that computer is a whole world. You feel me? And then
mm-hmm.
people like look at this guy that made the computer like he's God, and it's just one thing after another. Like in the same thing, like Men in Black at the end of the movie, the our
They're
whole
just gonna
solar system,
marvel.
the marble. Yeah, so trippy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I just hope that
No,
I hope that the world that we live in is the actual real world. I would really like that.
yeah, right. Well, yeah, I mean, but that's why I feel like no matter like what we do, like while we're here, we just have to give our 100% and like truly like do what we love and like what we seek for because like in the end we don't know what there is, and then it's like you don't want to waste whatever it was worrying about like standards that don't exist and worrying about people's opinions that don't matter and like all these other things. So it's like I just want to just do it. Just do it. At the end, like we'll find out.
It's true, man. I feel like we all kind of live in this like popularity contest because if you don't care what other people think, it's a lot more of a pleasant existence. But if you want to come up in this world, you also have to factor in that we do live in a society and other people's take on you will develop a reputation. And if you have a good reputation, it's a lot easier to excel. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like that balance of not caring what people think, but also kind of taking in what someone might think about you, because if you change what they think you should change about yourself, you might actually become a better person. But if you
Mm-hmm.
depend too much on what they think, you lose who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Well, I think it comes down to like, and this is something that I've had to like, I guess, keep playing in my head for the past few months is you, of course, I mean, I try to live like not, I guess, offending anybody. Like in the sense is like I won't do anything or be anything that's like totally like hyper aggressive to you or somebody else. But I'm also just gonna do me. And if you just happen to be offended by something, like that's your problem, because I'm not like you're not in the equation of why I'm doing like what I'm doing. So if somebody's upset of the way that I talk or act like to myself, it's like, all right, that's me. Like now, if I talk back to you or if I treat you badly, like okay, that's a direct thing. So I try to like, I guess, when I treat others, is just like keep it very like ground normal, but everything that has nothing to do with them, I'm just gonna do like my way.
word. I'm a big fan of decency, bro. Like I don't care what walk of life you're walking, as long as when we cross paths, you are exercising decency the same way I am.
Yeah,
Because man, there's a lot of different especially in South Florida. I know here in Miami there's a lot of different walks of life here. And I mean really it's like the way everywhere, But there's a whole lot of different types of people, but one common thing is like just be decent to one another. And there's so many rude people and people that it's one thing to not care about what people think, and it's another thing to take it to that level that some of these folks around here do, where they're actively being insensitive. And it's like, yo, cuz, you know, like the way that you're talking to this person obviously is offending this person, but I'm standing right by y'all talking to each other, and I'm getting bothered by it.
Yeah.
You know, so there are some people that are mad tyrannic with how they are that way, but you know, like if you have your views and your views might not align with other people's views, you know, it's cool, man. Just as long as when that person that you don't agree with is in the same room with you, y'all can still find some type of ground level, you know?
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I think one of the main causes of that is really, I mean, it's just society as it is nowadays. Like you mentioned, it's kind of like a popularity contest, and everybody's a voice now. Everyone has their say, but they also feel that their voice has to be taken into account. What I mean is, like, okay, let's say if I'm vegan or vegetarian or something. All right, that's cool. I'll eat the food that I want to eat. That doesn't mean that I have to be advocating it. That doesn't mean that I have to be telling people not to eat meat. I don't have to go to, the butcher shop and start like posting up like, ban this shop, or like, no, it's just, all right, you do you just as you were doing. I'm doing me. If you offer me some type of food that I don't like, I'm just not going to eat it. Like, but people nowadays, they're just like, they feel that if you speak against or don't like what their viewpoint is, then you're offending them personally, and it has nothing to do with them personally.
Man, I have a story. When I spent some time in North California, and my friends were being like good hosts to me. Her name is Maya, and she's a vegan, So it was time for all of us to eat in this big house that we were in. And she comes out of the kitchen with these burritos, like a big platter full of burritos she made for all of us. It's such a nice gesture. And I was so happy because I was hungry. And I'm not a vegan. I'll tear up ribs, whatever, So I get this burrito, and the first thing I think of is Chipotle. Like, man, what could be in this awesome little football,
That rice, that beef.
Yes, bro. And then I bite into it, and it was tasty. First of all, it actually tasted good. It was whatever. It was a tasty burrito. But I looked at it, and it was just potato and like zucchini and peppers and onions, but there was no meat. And I remember thinking to myself, maybe they're a little bit deeper into the burrito, So I keep biting. So I keep biting into it, and I'm here like, this is good, but is this all that there is to it? And turns out that that's what it was. And you don't want to be mean. Obviously, I had no intention of being mean, but your reaction I have to factor in that this person made this for us, and the way, even though I am not a vegan, I appreciate her going out of her way for it. And that's the thing. If it was the other way around and she came to my crib and I come out with a bunch of burritos, and she takes one bite into it, and then there's like flesh inside there, like that'll destroy her whole world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if anything, I'm the one that has it easy because I don't have a preference, but they do.
Yeah. No, and I mean that's what it is. It's kind of like it's just co-living. Like you can't live your whole life without interacting with other people. So, but you just have to not be like, I don't know, just like a jerk about things. Like, okay, like, everybody's gonna have a viewpoint or like a likeness or something that they like or they hate or not, and it's just like, all right, embrace it. That's it. Just take it for what it is and keep going. Like,
yeah, like if you don't like what's going on in that room, you could either tell everyone to get out or you just get out. especially if it's not your room. Like there's enough space in the world for you to be in your own space without bothering anyone else, and vice versa. But
Yeah,
like, but the challenge comes in when you can't get out of that room, and everyone in there is doing things that you don't agree with, and you're gonna fight it for a little while, like you're gonna tolerate it till you can't no more, and then you're gonna speak up about it and learn that everyone else in that room is not gonna stop what they're doing for you. So you gotta kind of just deal with it and endure it. You know, that's happened to
yeah,
me a bunch of times in my life. I just couldn't tell somebody to change their ways for me, and then you realize that the world does not revolve around you. So, you know, if
sure.
they're not going to stop, then you have to and just endure it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. No, for sure. And I mean, I think that's helped me a lot in just, I guess it's not like stressing over things that don't really matter because there's, like you said, if there's a situation that I don't like, it's just like, okay, I'll just leave or I won't find myself in that situation. That's it. I won't stop anybody else from like I always say to people, I'm like, do you? Like, that's what you do. Like, don't stop because it's me, but just know that that's it's not my thing. So if I don't participate or I'm not there, then that's
Like
what it
what?
is.
Like what's one thing that happened to you recently that's relating to this?
Well, not that, like, not anything particular, but I guess like in a sense is like most gatherings, like they'll be drinking or they'll be like smoking, and I don't do either or. Um, but just because of personal preference, not because like I hate anybody or like sometimes, but like if people are drinking around me, I'm just like, that's fine. You guys can drink, like, and I'm cool with my coffee and my Sprite, my lemonade or whatever, and like I'm not against anybody who's doing it. I don't drink. But some people they feel like bad around me. They're just like, oh my bad, or like sometimes like I don't curse too much, or like so when people curse around me, they're just like, oh my bad, I'm always cursing. I'm just like, nah, like I'm just here. Like it doesn't bother me. Like live your truth.
I feel like one day you're just gonna have enough, and you're gonna wake up, and your hair's gonna be all messed up. You're gonna have a 5 o'clock shadow and bags under your eyes, and you're just gonna be walking around with a bottle of Henny and a big ass Cuban cigar. Like, I just don't give a shit anymore.
For real.
Nah, but listen, so I've gone to some studio sessions where the artist that rented out the studio, him and all his boys, they'll have a bottle and they'll have the weed and this and that. And like right now, I can't do any of that right now. Like I'm on papers right now, so I can't partake in any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I still got to get the song done because that's what I'm here for. You wanted me on this record, and here I am to help you. And most of the time, I don't even go to people's studios anymore because I do it all myself. I have everything here. But you know how it is. They'll invite you because they want you there. So you go there and they're doing all that stuff. And I'm not supposed to be around that. So I just kind of try not to make it weird for them. But
Exactly.
I try to be like, all right, it's cool, man. Hey, I'm ready with my verse. You want me to just kind of do it real quick? And then I'll do the verse. And then when I'm done, I walk out and just chop it up with them for 10 minutes and just, all right, hey, bro, I got to go. My bad. Hey, y'all need anything else? Okay, peace, man. And I just remove myself, Like I remember, man, like, there was a point in time that I was in Missouri and I was doing a little time, right? Because I was arrested for having some marijuana on me. And everyone in there smokes cigarettes all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand cigarettes at all. I can't stand it. I would rather be around a bunch of people,
Doing
drinking,
everything
whatever.
else.
Yeah, but cigarettes, I can't, bro. And everyone there just constantly, from the moment they wake up, they light up. And imagine, bro, like the thing that I can't stand the most, I was around the most for like 4 months straight. And dealing with that puts things in perspective for everything else. When I got out, someone's cutting me off in traffic or someone's being rude to this person, that person. And all these things, they seem so little
Yep.
because you were forced to deal with something that you hate a lot more and a lot more of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's fun that I was just talking to someone else that was on the podcast about that, and it's just like that. The things that break us down, in a sense, like those struggles that like we really, really suffer with, are really what make us like that much better of a person because it's like we overcome it. We become kind of immune to it. So it's like you said, like before, if somebody was just walking around you, you probably like say something to them or like get all upset. But it's like now when it happens, you're just like, there's so many things that are not worth even stressing about.
it's true, man. I love gaining perspective. And the older you get and the more life experience that you go through, you really continue to, your skin just gets thicker and thicker, and you continue to just you just grow as a person. And in a way, I almost feel like that's the universe forcing you to go through these things so that you can develop your character and almost like maybe condition yourself for what you want to do in the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's interesting how that works.
And that's why I love meeting like new people and just surrounding myself with like different crowds because that's the only way you really learn to appreciate them because you never know somebody like how many viewpoints exist until you meet X amount of people. And then when you hear their point of view on things, you're just like, what? But you're like, all right, I gotta accept it. I mean, that's what that's what he thinks, that's what he believes. Fine, he's happy, it doesn't bother me. Whatever, roll with it and just take it.
And man, like, you'll see somebody that they're very successful, and then you try to model your life after theirs because you want to be successful too. But one thing that people don't really factor in is that what worked for them might not work for you because they're different than you are. They're into different things. They tolerate different things, and they have different standards than you do. Not that they're better than you are. It's just that they found their way a little bit sooner than you did. And the last thing you want to do is try to change the way you are to try to go about things the same way they did. And even worse is start to like question or think less of yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some of my favorite rappers, that are even younger than me, they advance in their career sooner than I did, and for a while that was kind of beating me up because I'm starting to think that it's too late for me or something. But that is a toxic way of thinking. If anyone is struggling with this whole age, it's too late for me to start because people became successful younger than me. That is a cancerous train of thought, bro. That shit it can't exist in your head. You have to just kind of stay focused and, keep it trucking.
Yeah, no, it's never too late. It's definitely never too late. I mean, and like you said, there's certain things that you have to go through, and there's certain experiences that you have to like suffer so that you can actually like learn what is it that you actually want and do like honestly like there's ideas and things that I've wanted to do for like years. And I never did it earlier just because I really wasn't in the right mindset. But now I'm in the right mindset. And I'm just like, all right, it's time. I can do it. And I don't feel like, when I think about like my age and I'm like, yeah, there's other people killing me younger than me and stuff like that. But I'm just like, but it doesn't matter. Like, I'm doing it now. This is my race. I'm on my own. I'm just doing my thing. And for them.
And also, if you let it bother you, it shows, man. It's really hard to hide that. It's really hard to hide that you walk around feeling like defeated by your own trajectory. Because, like, when I'm around people that are younger than me, and if I were to have this vibe, like, damn, fool, y'all have what I want, I would imagine that they can pick up on that. Nah, for sure. People can pick up on that immediately. Whereas if you just stay confident the entire time, people naturally are going to gravitate towards that. Because people want to be a part of the winning team. They want to be around people that, are beneficial to be around, even if it's just their energy. If you have a good energy, you could be 50. If you have a good energy, people are going to walk up and say, what's up to you?
For sure. For sure, for sure. No, yeah, and that's one thing I guess that I mean I've also like learned because for a while I felt, everyone always downplays themselves. Even for a while I was just like, I mean I guess I'm alright. Like I can defend my own, but I'm not the best that there is out there. But when I meet other people and then they're just like I'm just like me. Like sometimes I feel like I'm socially awkward, but then they'll be speaking to me and it's just like, yo, man, you're super dope. Like I'm glad we were able to talk, and I'm just like, I'm kind of whack. I'm just like, yeah, I'm here. Like, I'm here, but thank you for appreciating my presence. But that just goes to show that like even just being around someone, if that makes their day better or gives them confidence, whatever, then so be it. I'll be that guy that just stands around and smiles at people, if that helps.
Hey man, sometimes, bro, just being in the room is all that matters, bro. Like you don't have to be the center of attention all the time. You feel me? Sometimes just being in the room is straight. I used to like, look, man, most rappers, most people that make music, if you're a recording artist, you're probably going to want to get as much attention as you can. But sometimes you just have to take the back seat. But you're still in the car though. I used to film for this podcast called I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's called Drink Champs. It's like this rapper is the rapper Nori, Nore, and then this
Yeah.
Nori, and then DJ EFN. And these guys, you got the rapper and you have the DJ, and both these guys are legends. EFN's from Miami, Nori's from New York, and anyone that's into hip hop knows who Nori is.
Yeah.
And for like a year, I was helping them. I was filming for them. You get me? I have my own video equipment, and I offered them, well, EFN really, to film for them. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I want to be the guest that they have on their podcast. I want to be recognized and acknowledged for my skills. You feel me? But I was just a cameraman, But at the same time, I was present for a lot of classic hip hop moments just because I was okay with being the cameraman for that time. You feel me? So sometimes it's okay to just play the wall and just not be in the foreground. Sometimes it's okay to be in the background because it's not about you at that moment.
Yeah. No, actually, I definitely feel that. That's why, like, I mean, before when I was younger, I would always try to be the top of whatever I was doing, and then now I'm just like, I just want to play my part. If everything rolls smooth, I'm happy with it. I'm like that. I guess kind of like the middleman that helps keep all the pieces together.
Yeah.
Like,
hey man,
make sure that events happen, and it's just like, all right, everybody's good. My job here is done.
And that role is so important, man. Like the glue, the people that play the glue, that is so important because without the glue, everything falls apart. You feel me? So. Yeah. Nah, man, that's a noble role to play, bro. Sometimes you just got to be that way,
Yeah.
And and no one notices it because they're focused on everything that the glue is holding together. But if the glue wasn't there wouldn't be nothing to look at, So
for sure. Yeah, no, I hear that loud and clear. That's the story of my life.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah. Yo, so real quick, talking about your music. So what's like, where did you start to get inspired to like write music, and like where do your beats get your inspiration from? Like, what was the choice of the vibe that you're giving out?
You mean like from the very beginning or just recently?
Yeah, I guess from the beginning up until now. Like, how has it transitioned?
I mean, I'm gonna be real concise, man. Like, bro, the first words that I ever put on paper was a poem that I wrote for some girl in 5th grade when I was in 5th grade. And she just, like girls weren't too open to a guy trying to romanticize them because I was just a 5th grader. But in that same year, Space Jam had just came out. And the song in Space Jam, all in, you see, what's up? Feel the bass. Somebody had walked into our classroom and told us, hey, we're doing a talent show. Whoever wants to do a talent show, raise your hand. And I just threw my hand up. Not that I knew what I wanted to do. I just wanted to kind of be a part of something. So a few of us got together and rewrote lyrics over that song. And I found myself on stage performing for the whole school, and we didn't have the instrumental. We just rapped over the song.
Oh yeah.
so, so when I got a taste of that, I already knew that I had a knack for an interest, for performing in front of people, and then that kind of chilled for a couple years until I got into high school. So all of middle school, I didn't really get into none of that because I was kind of whatever. That's a whole other story. But in high school is when I was really introduced to the idea of getting into hip hop, specifically hip hop, and there was talent shows, and I got into the talent show, and I would perform my song, and I would win those things, and I learned the guitar, and I played the malagueña, and so after high school, I kind of got into like a little bit more into rap battles, but all this is around the love of rap and performing in front of people.
Yeah.
So I was really submerged into that whole world. And then I started to get into recording music in the studio. And at that point, when you're performing, when you're recording songs, that's when you're really finding yourself, who you are on record. Like what separates Eminem from any other rapper or Jay-Z or whoever? What separates these guys from other people when you press the play button? And that's what I was doing my soul searching for. You feel me? So like, it took me some time, bro, to really find myself. I knew that I was inspired by all these legends and I had a knack with words, but when I would rap in front of the mic, it just wouldn't sound right because I hadn't found myself yet. It sounded kind of like premature. So I had to kind of, do my 10,000 hours playing with different tones, different deliveries, different cadences, trying to, instead of rhyming just 2 syllables, let me try to rhyme 3 syllables, then 4 syllables and 5, 6. Then you rhyme the whole bar with the previous bar. And then you start to realize that you can tell stories with the available words that rhyme with the previous word, Like how can you connect these dots? And that's when I realized that when you're saying things that aren't facts or that are fictional, it's a lot easier to throw some things together because you're not even telling the truth anyway. You're just kind of exercising rhyming. But I wanted to tell my story. And if I want to tell my story, I have to be honest and be non-fictional. I had to be factual and literal. And at that point, I already knew how to put words together, but I wanted to put words together within the margins of what's actually what's actually in the room. And that's when it became real tricky. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sacrifice the truth just to throw some rhymes together. Like, nah, man, let me stick to the fucking story. Excuse my language, my story. You know what I mean? So once I got kind of the hang of that, man, it felt so good, man, to tell my story through like my life story told through rap. You feel me? Yep. And I haven't looked back since, man. I actually have a hard time constructing a verse that is fictional now. I have a hard time not being honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. No, and that's good. Actually, I'm a huge fan of music in general, of all types, and and even when it comes to hip hop, like the artists that always stick out to me are the ones who basically like are known as the underground rappers, but they're the ones that keep it true. They're the ones that that speak what's actually happening and keeping it true. And I'm just like, and that's the music that resonates with me.
Like who are some rappers that you listen to?
Recently, not a lot, but like I can name some people. I guess kind of like, I guess I have like the flow like Logic, that type of style. Who's the other person? I'm trying to think. I mean, like I'm still old school. The other day I was listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like,
I love Bone Thugs, man. I have a like I have a funny story with Bone Thugs and Logic too, and it's actually involving the same thing. Let me tell you the story, bro. Like
okay.
some years ago, I had a merch item, right? It was because like my brand is 12 a.m. like the time,
Hmm.
12 a.m. And there's a whole story behind that. But a few years ago, because that's my brand, one of my merch items was a watch, and the watch was a black watch that was kind of like rubber, and you press the face, and then the time kind of pops. The light that tells you the time would tell you it would say what time it is, and then kind of go away. And I had my name printed on it, so it was just
Okay.
my logo on a watch, right? So 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 Busy Bone and Flesh and Bone were
Hmm.
performing in Miami, right? This was like 5 years ago, and and I was able to go to the show because the girl that I was with at the time, she had she was a blogger, and she had this little interview series where she'll, just with the microphone in her hand, she'll interview
Yeah.
them. So she got an interview with Busy Bone and Flesh and Bone, and I was helping her out being the cameraman. So I was the cameraman for my girl interviewing some of my favorite rappers.
Yeah.
But but there's a time and place for everything. I wasn't gonna be like, hey yo, bro, just letting you know I actually make music, because
Yeah.
it'll be a little funny, you know what I'm saying? So I just kind of kept that to myself. But after the interview, like they gave us, they shook our hands. Yo, thanks a lot, man. And Busy Bone's like mad tall. I didn't expect him to be so tall. And I gave Busy Bone and Flesh and Bone, each of them, one of my watches. And Busy was like, this is your watch? Oh, this is cold. What? Hold on. Let me take off my watch real quick. Here, help me take off my watch, because his hand was holding a cup of liquor. And I'm here
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm thinking, just take it off yourself, bro. What? You know what I'm saying? But his hands were full. He had something in his other hand, so he kind of was trying to take it off, and I helped him take off the watch, and I gave him my watch, and he put his expensive ass watch in his pocket and put on mine, and so did Flesh and Bone, and we took a picture with my watches.
Oh.
And that was cool, man. Obviously, most likely they just took the watches off, put it in a bag, and kept it moving. But that gesture was tight. And then
Of course.
about a year later, I was not even a year later, probably like 6 months later, I was in California, right? And an artist that I have a song with at the time, his name was Quest. His name is Sylvan LeCue now, right? But he used to be signed to Logic's label, Visionary Music Group, right? So Logic had Quest opening up for him on tour,
Hmm.
and we were in San Francisco, and uh I approached Quest after the show. Yo, what's up, man? I'm here. Whatever. He was happy to see me, and he's like, yo, come with me onto the tour bus. You feel me? So I walked up to the tour bus, and Logic was there, mad sweaty because he had just finished performing, and
Yeah.
I just gave him props. Yo, bro, you put on a good show, man. Blah blah blah. Whatever. It was him, um, the guy that rides with him, Big Lembo, the big dude,
Hmm.
and Quest, and he introduced us. Yeah, that's what's up, man. And I've never really been one to try to overstay my welcome. You feel me? You ever get uncomfortable when you know that you're the visitor? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I was like, yo, hey man, I'm gonna get out your way. I just wanted to congratulate you, and I wanted to actually gift you my this merch item. And I kind of gave him the quick little spiel, and he too was like, yo, this is dope, man. Thanks a lot, whatever. So I gave him and Big Lembo a watch. And you know, it's little moments like that that kind of go back to what we were talking about earlier, where you know you you want to be considerate of people kind of being on their own thing, but
Yeah.
you still kind of want to make your mark, but at the same time you want to be okay with not being in the foreground. Sometimes being in the background is okay too.
Yeah. No, no,
You
for
know?
sure. I mean, a lot of times, like I'll be, because I work more in the entrepreneurial space, so like a lot of these events that I go to and I have to film are with like these big name people that, um, at least in that kind of like they're like micro famous, but they're still like a lot of people would love to meet them, and I'm just like, oh, it's cool, I met them, I was in the same room, like, it was a chill vibe, but like I never, I guess, treat celebrities like celebrities in a sense. Like, just like there's no people, and I understand like you can feel comfortable or uncomfortable just like me. So I'm not gonna be that awkward guy and always ask for like a picture or something. Just the fact that like I experienced being there is like enough for me.
Word. That's good, man. I mean, it's different people approach it differently. I know some friends that they will not pass up an opportunity to take a picture with somebody. And I'm like you. Like every now and then I'll try to get a photo. Like with Busy Bone and Flesh and Bone, we took a photo. But with Logic, I didn't because I didn't want to be that guy. You feel me?
Yeah, exactly. Like if the opportunity comes up, then I'm just like, yeah. But if it's like awkward or like forced, I'm just like, nah, I'm not for it.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
That's dope. Also, another rapper that I thought of is Aesop Rock.
Oh, you rock with Aesop?
Yeah. So like, I mean that's the flow. Like honestly, the rappers that I always listen to are ones who are just, like I said, who keep things underground and talk about like stuff that's real. Because like honestly nowadays I really don't mess too much with the hip hop scene. There's very very few artists that I listen to, and I just like music. I like lyricism. Obviously I'm an Eminem fan because I got bars for days, but when it comes to like actually like lyrics and telling a story through words, like that's what I'm about. So
people forget to mention Aesop Rock when they talk about who are the best rappers, and I think the reason that is because Aesop is like he's on a different. He's not normal. Aesop Rock is on a different, whole other different level. And I love that he will write songs about the most unorthodox topics, but he'll stick to it.
Yeah.
Like Aesop Rock is easily in my top 10, bro. I mean, but only because everyone else they make really good music, but Aesop Rock is one of those guys that you probably shouldn't listen to him while you're on acid or something because he will overwhelm you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Nah,
I was gonna ask you, did you ever see him live? Because I went to his Impossible Kid tour. That was my first time seeing him live, and he puts on a great show, man.
Nah, honestly, that's one thing that I have to do more. I haven't been to many. Like I've probably been to like 3 concerts, like ever, and they were mostly like rock when I was like younger. But that's one thing that I do want to, experience like live music festivals and things like that. So
Word.
that's on my bucket list.
Dope, man. Sure, you know what's one thing on my bucket list too? Like skydiving.
Yeah, my brother did that like years ago. He did it, and I've been trying to do it ever since. But I just trying to do it. It's honestly it's not that expensive from what I understand. There's like a spot in well that was closer to us in Jersey, was in PA, and it was just like 130. It's like $130, and like you can go and like do a whole skydiving session or whatever. And I'm just like, that's not, it's not out of the.
You just got to make sure that you have enough money to get a new pair of pants after.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Word, man. Bro, like the way I met you, bro. I was browsing on the Instagram and I looked up Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yo, I was just about to mention that. Go ahead.
Man, like I'm bugging out that it's actually happening, bro.
For sure. No, I was going back and I was just like, when you sent me a DM on Instagram, I was just like, hold up, I saw this name just a few minutes ago, and I was just like, it was in the comment section of the release, right, of the footage,
right,
of the Final Fantasy remake, and I was just like, hell yeah, because usually like on most things like that, I usually don't leave a comment, or I won't like other people's comments or things, but look how the world works. Just because a little comment like that, now we were able to connect. So
Yeah, because you put that post up about the trailer, and then I dropped a comment on that. But then when I looked at your profile, I saw that you had the podcast. That's why I hit you up. But
mm-hmm.
but what meant the most to me right now is that since that trailer came out, everyone is is being outspoken about how much of a fan they are of the game. You feel me?
Yeah,
And in my life right now, I only have one or two friends that also are fans of the game. You know, I have my one friend that we equally were just as big of fans of Final Fantasy, and then I have my other friend that he's more of a casual fan. But now, because of Instagram, everyone can connect on what
yeah,
they're into. So I literally looked up Final Fantasy VII remake, the hashtag, and just started browsing. You feel me? And
yeah,
not for nothing, but that game is. It looks like, you know, what's funny, man. Like we waited all these years for the remake to come out,
for
right?
real.
And it never came out. And all these bluffs, they'll come out with a little preview, and that thing wouldn't go nowhere. And we thought that it was never going to come out. And now it's actually coming out. And it's like our fantasies are coming true, you
Yeah,
know? So the remake itself is actually our Final Fantasy.
yeah, yeah. That was a comment when I read that. I was like, yo, that's so true. That's deep.
Yeah, it is, man.
You
It's
know,
like, fuck, bro.
honestly, that game has like shaped my life in so many ways. Like that will forever be like if somebody wants to know like where my references come from, like why I act the way I act and I talk the way I talk is because of Final Fantasy. Like just the character development for everybody and their story is so deep that it's just like I can go on for days. I mean, just just to throw one out there with Barrett doing his whole like tough dad thing for his daughter Marley. Like that's just like the craziest thing. Like he's the toughest dude up in there, the biggest, burliest guy, and he's the one walking around with this little daughter and doing everything for her. And you're just like,
Yeah, it's
what?
awesome, man. I I love it, man. I love every single character of that story. That's the thing, man. I must have played that game from beginning to end easily like 50 times in my life.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then I lost not I lost, but my PlayStation 1 stopped working when I was
Or the
much.
memory card got. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, I remember one time because you know you would get the PlayStation memory card that was from PlayStation, but they also sold the third party ones that weren't
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
reliable. They were cheaper. So
Mhm.
I would get those, and then one would stop working, and I had like Knights of the Round on that one, and you had to start all over because you went through this whole mission getting the gold chocobo and just all these things.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, I called the manufacturing company and I vented out to them. And I knew you get the number, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I call them and some guy picks up, hey, thanks for calling, blah 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 blah, and he's talking to some 13-year-old kid, which is me, saying, "This is not working. You don't understand what I went through to get all these final weapons and limit breaks and this."
yeah. Yo, man, that level up grinding is no joke.
Yeah,
Like I said,
it's and you know what? Like exploring the world map is what made me is what instilled a love of traveling to me nowadays. You feel me? And
yeah,
the first time that I traveled across the country from here to California, from Miami to California, and you start to see the mountains and you know the valleys through Nevada and shit. It reminds me of like Cosmo Canyon, you know,
yep.
and when the terrain starts to change, you feel me? So,
Yeah, Rocket Town.
bro, I love it, man. I love that game so much. It's my favorite. I might get a tattoo of something on that game on me, bro. I'm not even tripping, bro. Like I love that game, bro.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Usually, like, I don't have a lot of, I guess, like, fandom for, like, a lot of things. Like, there'll be a lot of things that, like, I like, but that's one of the things that's, like, if I have to say I'm a fan of, would be Final Fantasy 7. And just, like, and it's funny because I like all the Final Fantasies, but nothing resonated like that one. Like that.
I wonder what it is about that game too. Like, what do you think it is about that game over 8 and 9 and 10 that just resonated so much with you?
I just think that I guess the characters were just so human in a sense. Like their stories were like so relatable because you have first of all the plot twist with Cloud was just like on a whole nother level because at the end when you find out that he was never in Soldier, that he was just like formed from Mako and he's actually like Sephiroth's clone and like all this other stuff and you just like, but yeah, they were just like, I don't know. I guess it was not only that each one had their own like story, but it was just like they were all so, I guess in a sense, weak, but they all came together for that one purpose, and it was actually like to save the planet. So it's like,
Yeah, it's like it shows you what you're capable of.
yeah. And you met so many different people, and there was characters like Yuffie who at the beginning would just be ending up stealing all your stuff, and you hated her, and then she was like one of the most lovable characters.
Yeah, like, do you remember that one guy in what's that town that's right outside of Midgar? The first one that you go to. What's that called?
The one that gets burnt down, Nibelheim?
No, not Nibelheim. I think it's called Calm. No, it's not Calm. It's the one that's right. It's the one that when you want to fight the weapons, Ruby weapon, like mind you, it's been a little while since I played this part, but the guy that gives you the desert rose, right? That secret item, right? He's hanging out in one of the motels, and the way that the designers gave each of these little non-playable characters a little story, a little mini story, Oh, I did a lot of traveling and I gathered all these pieces, and I want to give you this item since you've been so nice to me. And he gives you a little desert rose, and that little mini story says so much about this one random person. You feel me? So like when you translate that to the real world and you're standing in line at the grocery store and some little old lady's like, "Oh, thanks a lot. I had a long day today," or whatever. Like there's a whole, you don't know the backstory of this person.
Yeah.
You know me? It just gives you perspective, man. Like everyone aside from you is a non-playable character. You feel me? And all of them had this crazy backstory. I love that, man.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. It was just so relatable to real life, like in a sense where, because it still had to deal with like magic and summons and materia and all these other things, but it was just on such a human level that we didn't even care. Like honestly, when you go back and think about the graphics, like nobody would cared about the graphics. Nobody was even like, it didn't matter at all. That's how good the story was.
Bro, like I prefer those I'm turning on my iPad right now, and I have Final Fantasy VII in my iPad. Because you could buy it on that.
Yeah.
You could buy it in the App Store. So I remember I had to renew my license, so I was at the DMV and I'm in line, and everyone in line is just complaining because it's taking so long, and I'm the only one there that's like, I'm having a great time in line. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because I'm here playing Final Fantasy VII while everyone else is complaining. You feel me? It's just, damn, I love that game, bro. And then when Advent Children came out, like that blew everyone's mind away, because to get a sequel to that game at that quality,
Yeah.
was remarkable, man. I loved it, man.
Yeah, no, it definitely like I said, it's something that's shaped my whole life and the way I think of stuff. So it's like, so I'm happy. I'm happy to relive it. I'm happy.
Yeah, me too, man. Even if it took 25 years.
I remember the first time. When was it at what's that E3 conference or whatever? But this was like maybe 2010, and they had first announced the remake, and they just showed that first clip. The train clip, the subway where Cloud jumps onto the train as a soldier.
Yeah.
And they just showed like that one, like maybe a minute long clip with these amazing graphics. I'm like, yo, they're gonna make the remake. And then after that, it was just like, no, 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 maybe.
Yeah, because you heard what happened, right? Like they fired that whole designing team. They hired some team, some group of some company to make the game, and they didn't like the where it was going, so they fired them and started from scratch.
Oh wow.
And it took them 4 years. It took them 4 years to release this trailer. So I mean, I hope that they don't mess it up, man. I'm just gonna be happy to get it. You feel me?
Yeah.
Just,
No matter
I
what.
don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't care if it's I don't care if the game is not what everyone else thought it was going to be, or if they come out in episodes, or how the fighting system is. I'm not going to care about none of that. I'm just going to be happy that it exists. You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah, because if anything, they're still the original.
Yeah. And that's why I sent you that song, bro, Dilly Dally. I sent you the record because, mind you, in older songs of mine, I reference Final Fantasy VII too. I have a couple lines here and there, but I never sat down and wrote an entire song dedicated to Final Fantasy VII. And honestly, man, like I haven't heard anybody else touch on it the way that I did. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to show you that record, and I'm so proud of that.
I loved it. I'm still listening to it. I gotta check out the whole album though. But yeah, no, I was listening. I was just like understanding everything you were talking about. I'm like, yep. Yeah, no, it's funny. There's one song. I don't know if you know this. I guess what can you call him? I don't want to say like a DJ, but I guess a music producer. Sean Wasabi.
Who?
Sean Wasabi.
Sean Wasabi. Okay.
He basically makes like he makes beats, like beats by using like different different chords, different riffs, different beats from like everywhere. So he has this one song called Marble Soda, and at the end he throws the crystal theme. You know that. So, but he throws it at the end, and when I heard the song, and I'm like, I'm feeling it. And then when I heard it come out at the end, I'm just like, no way! Like that made it like one of my favorite songs today, just because of how it ends. Because that crystal theme just brought back, that title theme when you turn the game on and have the sword right there, and but I just brought it back, and I was just like, that's how amazing music is, and how like it can inspire so much like emotion and passion.
Yeah, bro. There was this thing, man. There was this guy that went to a senior home, like these elderly folks had Alzheimer's, and he put headphones on them, but they're already at that age. They're like in their 90s, and they don't remember anything. And they put headphones on them and played songs that were popular from their day, and you see how the memory came back, and they start singing along to it, and it's just it's amazing, the power of music, man. Or just not even just music from an artist, but just soundtracks from video games, things like that they stay in your memory.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, bro.
So some of my favorite soundtracks are from Sonic the Hedgehog, from what's the other one, Rice Star, from like all these Genesis like 8-bit tracks, and there was still music that like I'll go on YouTube and I'll find the BGM tracks, and they're still just as good.
Hell yeah, bro. I love it, man. To me, music is the most important non-tangible thing that we could spread. You feel me? Like, you can't hold a song in your hand, but it has just as much value as something that you can hold. You feel me? Like a picture of your mom and your dad, you can hold on forever, but a song will play that'll be just as vivid as that picture is. You feel me?
Yeah. No, it's definitely it's a very powerful medium, and it's something that we are born with. Like, music is like you say, it's in our blood.
I think so, man.
Like, everybody resonates with some type of music. That's why, like, when you look at culture, every culture has some type of music. It's like you have a language, you have food, and you have music. That's what makes a culture. So it's like that's how you can tell how powerful it is, that it's part of of what makes people people, you know, from a certain like area.
And like with that being said, like right now I have a hard time enjoying current Spanish music because you got artists like Bad Bunny in them where they're singing in Spanish, but the music that they're singing over is just popular American music. It's
Hmm.
just like it's a song that it's a beat that you would hear Two Chainz or whoever else over or Drake or whatever, and it just happens to be a Spanish singer. Whereas when I was young, the Spanish music from that was coming out during those times, it sounded like it came from the country that the guy is from. You can hear the
Yeah.
Cuban or original music, the Puerto Rican original music. You would hear it from those guys back then, and I'm kind of hoping that people go back to just being much more culturally oriented when they make music, man. Like I live in America and I'm Hispanic, so you're always gonna hear a little bit of standard American hip hop music from me. But if I jump on a track with somebody from another country, I want to hear the song and it remind me of the country that they're from. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
if it doesn't sound like where you're from, I'm gonna have a hard time differentiating it from just any other record that's out. You
Hmm.
know, that's why
Yeah.
that's why I love, like, for example, if you go on YouTube and you look up Japanese jazz, it sounds like it's in Japan. You dig?
Hmm.
If you look up American jazz, it sounds like you're in Memphis or something, or New Orleans or whatever. But nowadays, everyone wants to be in that top 40, and most of the top 40 records are just songs from America. So everyone wants to emulate that American formula, and they lose their identity.
Yeah.
You know?
No, no, I hear that. Actually, recently, I had a Brazilian friend, and um, we went to like this Brazilian lunch spot, and there was a song playing, and he's like, "Oh, this is music from my country." That's what he mentioned. And it's like the type of music is called like playera. So he's like, "This is like kind of like a type of folklore, like of Brazil." So when I hear that song, I feel like I'm in Brazil, like I'm at the Brazilian beaches or something, and and I love it. I still listen to it today, and every time I hear it, I'm just like, this is what music is. Like the lyricism wasn't crazy, the beats and riffs weren't crazy, but it was just the feeling of where it's from and what the person was trying to convey is what made everything.
Absolutely, man. Like when someone does a good job of making music that represents where they're from and just really captures that emotion in that little jar, man, that's how you know that music is gonna be timeless. You could play it for the rest of your life and it's still gonna feel the way it felt the first time you heard it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
No,
that video. It's like the video game too. Every time that I start playing Final Fantasy VII, I go right back to that initial feeling that it gave me.
for sure. No, now I gotta. Now I'm looking to download the original one before the new one comes out. Cause I gotta I gotta get back on it.
Word, man, do it, bro, and you'll be surprised, man. Just the screen is smaller, but it's all there, bro. You're not gonna have a harder time playing just because you're playing on a smaller screen. It's literally all there, bro.
Yeah, okay, I could relive it. I need some of
Word.
that so I can spark some more uh, creativity and inspiration back. I can still work. But yeah, no, bro, definitely one thing that that I want to keep in touch with you is because I'm trying to learn like I said, like sound engineering and like music. So any little tips and things, you're gonna be my
Yeah,
go-to
yeah,
guy.
for sure, man. I'll give you some tips, man. So look, like, so so when you say sound engineering, you mean like mixing songs, like mixing?
Yeah, but probably mixing or like at least understanding like putting instrumentals or like beats together to give a certain.
Yeah, okay, that's what's up, man. So like one tip that I can give you is that people need to know the difference between mixing and mastering, right? Mixing is when you stylize your song or you clean up the sound so that it doesn't sound muddy, doesn't sound too muffled, or one instrument's too loud or too low or it gets drowned out. And mastering is when you're done mixing the song, you want to make sure that you left enough headroom, which is the unit of measurement of music is decibels, the dB.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure that your mix never goes higher than like -6 or -8 decibels, because between -8 and 0, that headroom is what you give the mastering engineer to work with to really, really turn your song as loud as it could without sacrificing the dynamic range, which is the lows and the
Mm-hmm.
highs. You want to give it the you want to keep the lows low so that you can really tell when it gets loud and high. You don't want it to sound kind of flat, like just squish the song. You squish the lows up and the highs down. You don't want to do that too much, man, because that takes away from the experience. Like if you hear a song like from like Pink Floyd, or like Wish You Were Here or whatever, it starts off mad low. You almost have to turn the knob up in your volume just to kind of hear what's going on. But that super low intro and that gradual build up really complements the climax of the song. So even if you're just starting off making some digital beats where you're programming some drums in your computer and you kind of synthesize instruments,
Mm-hmm.
like really allow yourself to allow the song to build up and break back down, and don't be afraid to add a little extra reverb on this one drum and then take it back away. And don't be so formulaic, just kind of let the song kind of be a little living thing,
Yeah.
but never ever ever let the highest point of your song, the loudest point, ever be louder than -6 or -8, because it may not seem like it's too much to you now or too strong, but when you send that mix to the mastering engineer that takes your mix and masters it, you'll see it really come to life when you leave them that headroom to work with. You following me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. No, for sure. I get that because, like, I understand a little bit of audio just because I have to deal with video, so audio is always a big part.
Yeah.
So that what you're saying, like, keeping the dynamic range, like everything where it needs to be, is I understand that fully.
Yeah, like there's this rule of thumb, right, where they say that if the chorus doesn't sound too big, you could either make the chorus bigger or you can make the pre-chorus smaller. So you have the verse, and the verse is nice, is right there, and then you kind of break it down a little bit for the pre-hook, and you take away some instruments, and you let that go for 4 bars, and then you kind of do the big boom 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 build up to the chorus, and then the chorus has everything going at the same time, and it sounds so big because you took some things away before it. You get me?
Yep.
So sometimes it's not about adding more. Sometimes it's about taking away some, and less is more. You feel me?
Yep. I hear that 100%.
Yeah.
I fully get that.
But whatever. If you have
Um,
any other, if you have any other questions along the way, just hit me up, man. I'll help you out, man. It's all good.
yeah, no, for sure. I'm gonna have a lot because I spoke with another friend in back in Jersey who I recently met also, and he's done a few tracks like more like cover songs and some original songs. But I told him like, yo, as soon as I started like learning how to mix, or produce or whatever, like we're gonna share, we're gonna go back and forth and learn together. So I definitely that's one of my next endeavors that I really want to get into.
Word, man. And also, there's this one this one video on YouTube. This channel is called Pensado's Place. If it's PENSADO apostrophe S, Pensado's Place. This
Okay.
guy, this guy is like an encyclopedia of audio engineering. But the only thing that I'll probably tell you, just to kind of be mindful of, is that he's so experienced in it that the things that he's saying might go over your head, because it's just a second. It's an extension of him, but you're
Yeah,
still kind of learning it. So I would watch a video of what he says and then pause it and look up the word and be like, oh, okay, that's what he's talking about.
that's what it's like. Okay.
You know.
I'm gonna write this down because I'm not forgetting.
Yeah, Pensado's place. YouTube, man. YouTube University, bro. I'm a graduate of that.
That's same.
You know, I'll buy a new piece of gear, and the first thing I do is put on a tutorial, man. Like I just watch tutorials all day. It's like when Neo learns kung fu, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Over here, over when Trinity has to learn how to fly the helicopter. It's
yeah.
like, got it.
Let's go.
Sure. No, man, that's
Word.
dope. So if people want to continue to like look up your work and connect with you, like what's the best place for them to check you out?
Yeah, man. So look, so everybody just check me out. Like, right now my music is on Spotify and Apple Music and all those platforms. Just look up Art Morera, ARTMORERA. It's the same thing with my YouTube. Just type in my name, man. I'll pop up. ArtMorera.com is also like where everything is at. Instagram, everything is just Art Morera, and if you do take time to check me out, I appreciate that, man. Homies like Super Manny, giving me an opportunity to let you get to know me, and I truly appreciate that, man. So if you do check out my stuff, dope. And if you don't, it's all right, man. It'll be there waiting for you when you're ready, straight.
For sure. Yeah, that's what's up. So everybody heard it here first. Go check out my boy Art Morera on everywhere. It's good that you have the same name on all platforms. Easier to find you.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, brother, no, definitely thank you so much for coming on the show, and it's definitely been a pleasure to just talk. I always tell people like whenever I have these podcasts and just talking and vibing, like the rest of my day is just better because now I have all this like positive energy and feedback coming through. So I definitely want to thank you for that.
Bro, it's the same thing for me too, man. I appreciate that, bro. Like these podcasts, like is a really good way to sit somebody down for a whole hour and you just have like human interaction instead of just reading some comments. So it's mutual, man. I appreciate this, bro, for real.
For sure. No, brother. Thanks so much. Like I said, I'm definitely gonna have some questions for you. So I'll be definitely be hitting you up. But just to wrap everything up, everyone who's listening, definitely go check out his music. If you get a chance, listen to Billy Daddy. That's Final Fantasy VII inspired music. It's amazing. And like I always say to everyone listening to the podcast, each and every one of you are also super creators. You just gotta go out and find your superpower. And with that, we'll finish with this episode. Until next time.
Peace.